Well, right now, let's go live to City Hall. This is where TTC Chair Jamal Myers is speaking to reporters, along with TTC CEO Rick Leary.
Accepted my resignation. In many ways, I'm going to tell you this was a difficult decision, but in other ways, I'm going to tell you it was a little bit easier than one may think. And I'm going to say, let me explain. As many of you know, I was recognized for 10 years of service here at the TTC last month. I can tell you what an incredible 10 years it has been. I'd go as far as saying that this has been the most rewarding experience in my 4 decades in public transit. But for many people, a decade in any job also brings with it some self-reflection when it comes to personal and professional goals and objectives. This year, I turned 61 years old, and I believe there are some new opportunities and challenges awaiting me. I am not going to fully retire. And that's where I am, why I'm here today, looking for the next chapter of my career. Some will ask about the timing of this announcement. I'm going to say that's fair. For me, it was about seeing that one last major undertaking over the finish line. And that was the new collective agreement with the ATU 113, our largest union partner. I believe that it was my duty and obligation to ensure that a new agreement was in place before I stepped down. And if we'd not reached an agreement, I needed to be here to steer the organization to a labor disruption. But thankfully, that did not happen. We got an agreement. It all worked out well. Good for the city. And that means 3 more years of labor peace and 3 years of full transit service for the millions of customers who rely on us every day. And I'm proud of this deal, just as proud of, and it's just as proud of the many other things that we've accomplished in my time here at the TTC. Now, I'll let you know I joined the TTC in 2014 when I was lured away from York Region Transit to serve as the Chief Service Officer under then CEO Andy Byford, a good friend of mine. My primary responsibility at the time was for surface operations, bus and streetcar services. Andy also honored me by naming me the Deputy CEO of the TTC. My task was to improve the surface network operations and address things like the poor on-time performance and streetcar short turns that were a regular source of frustration for customers in this city. I was also in charge of the Capital State of Good Repair program to address the replacement and upgrades of track, power, facilities, and vehicles. These initiatives helped the TTC win the 2017 APTA Transit System of the Year Award, something that I know that Andy Byford was very proud of. Now, when I was named the permanent CEO in July of 2018, I never lost sight of those core responsibilities. But I knew there was much more that was needed to be done when it became to changing the culture of this organization or this corporation. And this resulted in a number of firsts for the TTC, things I'm very proud of. Together with this board and the amazing TTC staff, we did a number of things, and I'm going to let you know what they are. We hired the first ever Chief of Diversity and Culture and created the first ever action plan on diversity and inclusion. Now, this was groundbreaking and award-winning plan that ensures everyone who rides and works at the TTC feels welcome and safe. We also changed recruitment processes to ensure our workforce reflects our customers in the city in which we serve. And I'm also very proud that we created the first international chapter of Conference of Minority Transit Officials in the Toronto region. We created our very first, as you recall, capital investment plan for the TTC that outlines where investments are needed to ensure the long-term health of our infrastructure. Through that plan, we secured billions of dollars for new vehicles. You think of the 60 streetcars and all the buses that we're having rolling in now, station upgrades and expansion, young and blue, something well needed for the future of this city to ensure the vibrancy. I want to make sure I do thank elected officials at all levels of government, having the opportunity to meet the Premier, the Prime Minister, and all the individual MPs and MPPs. It's been an incredible honor. I want to thank them for what they've done for this organization. We created the first data and analytics group that started using modern technology to improve service performance through real-time data collection. And how can we forget that we also prioritized the greening of the TTC fleet with the purchase of the first battery electric, all electric buses with complete conversion to zero emissions by 2040. And we're ahead of schedule on that. There's plenty more that I'd like to talk about. It's been an incredible opportunity to be here and just quickly mention, managing service through COVID-19, the pandemic, right? The things that the city that we did for the city, the cyber incident, incredible experience is something I'd never want to experience again. Now, I need to be clear. These accomplishments are not mine on alone, and in this case, many of them are still in the works and they're ongoing. And I've always said nobody does anything themselves. It's all about partnerships and cooperation. The credit of any success that I have goes to the 17,000 incredible employees in this organization and the exceptional senior leadership and management team. I'm going to say both past and present. I cannot begin to thank them enough for buying into our new vision and working tirelessly to implement it. Like me, they all understand our company is about the customer service first and foremost. It's all about the customer. The TTC employees, and TTC employees, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've made me proud every day. I also want to thank the boards and chairs that I've worked with. I always felt their support and guidance was almost always directed towards achieving the best customer experience possible. Again, it's all about the customer. So to Josh Cole, our late friend Jay Robinson, John Burnside, and the current chair beside me, Jamal Myers, I say thank you. I'd also like to say thank you to the former Mayor John Tory, as well as the current Mayor, Olivia Chow. They were both willing to have difficult discussions about ways to keep the city moving better, but they always understood and backed us of all of our needs. We're very fortunate in this organization. I have a few other people I'd like to thank if I could as well. I want to thank the former chair of York Region, Bill Fish, for taking a chance on a guy from Boston to lead York Region Transit back in 2009. Moving here opened the door for me to becoming fulfilling a dream of becoming a Canadian citizen, like the hockey heroes in my childhood. I'm very proud of that. I'll never forget August 13th, 2019. So I also want to say thank you to my friend Andy Byford and Gary Webster for their vision and foresight before me. They knew that innovation and service excellence were the key to the TTC's success. So I'm really standing on their shoulders. Like they did, I hope that I'm leaving the organization in a better position to continue to succeed for years to come. Now, just last and certainly not the least, I think it's important that I acknowledge and say thank you to my wife of 27 years, Anne Marie, my children, Brian and Caroline, and my Canadian-born daughter, Courtney. When I uprooted, first the three of them, obviously the Canadian-born was from here. When I uprooted their lives and moved them to another country in 2009, their love and support never wavered. They've always been there for me, and in many cases tolerating me. And I'm grateful for that. Even through the pandemic, when things changed in our family, they continue to stand by me. So I really am a very fortunate person, and many people have heard me say I'm the luckiest person in Ontario. So as I said at the outset, I'll be stepping down effective August 30th. Until then, I am going to continue to lead this organization with pride and honor. And not to ruin the surprise, but I am looking forward to an August chair when we get the chance to announce the new service that's going to be provided in September, right? Continuing the focus that you've been driving with the mayor, so that's all good news. So again, thank you all for being here, and it was a great opportunity to thank you and tell my story. So I'll ask Chair if you'd like to say a few words, and we can take some questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by saying that Rick Leary has served at the TTC for 10 years, 6.5 of those as CEO. During that time, he's been committed to providing reliable, safe service while ensuring high standards of customer care to millions of transit riders annually. Today, I want to announce that Rick Leary has informed the board that he will be retiring from the TTC effective August 31st, 2024. Rick will continue his role until then and assist in helping with the transition. As this chapter in Toronto Stories closes, we are grateful for Rick's contributions to the TTC successes over the past decade. He established performance standards for service quality, vehicle reliability, cost control, and personnel. Rick has undertaken major cultural change programs and implemented many firsts for the TTC. Under his leadership, the TTC hired its first ever Chief of Diversity and Culture and created the first ever action plan on diversity and inclusion, a groundbreaking plan that has won 2 awards. Rick has decided to pursue new opportunities, and I'm sure he will share his plans with you at an appropriate time and forum. For now, we will take this opportunity to acknowledge his many contributions to the great legacy of the TTC and wish him well in all of his future endeavors. The TTC will announce the next steps towards new leadership, including an interim CEO in the coming weeks. There will be no stoppage of any ongoing projects and no disruption of daily service. Rick and I will now be happy to take any questions you may have.
Rick, just wondering, late last year it seemed that there was an attempt to discipline you, or there seemed to be some sort of rumblings that there was an attempt to see you depart. I'm just wondering, did that at all lead to your decision to move on?
No, I'm just going to tell you, and you heard me say it, why I'm decided to move on. This is under my terms. I'm excited. I think it's an opportunity for the organization to be led in a new direction. Hey, I'm 61 years old, like I said. For me, it's what do I want to do next? I'm looking forward to taking a trip with my family, to be honest with you.
Since that meeting, have you been negotiating an exit from the TTC?
No, this really is about my telling the chair, I think it's time to go. I'm very grateful for the career I've had. This is on my terms. I'm very happy. And that's why I'm staying to the end of August. I'm obligated, right, just to perform per my contract to stay.
Did you feel like you were able to lead in the same manner since all that stuff happened towards the end of last year?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If 2 mayors, 4 different boards, 4 different chairs, everyone manages and leads a little differently, right? But no, that's we continue to provide good quality service every day. We have our challenges, don't get me wrong. Right, and we're very transparent about that. We come to the board every month and share that. But no, you've seen we're still plugging along.
So you have a couple months left here. What are kind of the bigger things that you want to see accomplished or in the process before you leave?
Well, as I said at the vendor end there, I'm looking forward to establishing, getting that service correctly outlined for us for September. That's another big win for the city. We look at the streets and we see people coming back. We're hearing about the people coming back to the office more and more. Ridership's ticking up. It's a vibrant city again. It's the feel. So it's good.
So just to be clear, that what we understood from that November meeting, much of it was in camera and secret, was that there was an investigation launched into the alleged workplace conduct of yours. Was your departure influenced by that or any findings that were presented to this board today?
No, this is purely me deciding at the right time, from a family perspective, it was time to go. This was, that's on my terms. I'm very proud of this.
You said the timing coincides with getting a deal done with the union. Why not wait until you've got that funding guaranteed for the Line 2 trains?
Well, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. I think you heard us talking about this at the board, right? Working on the grant applications, right, for the permanent transit funding. I think Karen talked about the fact that we focused a lot with the federal government to get a pre-authorization later on this year. We got them to take the process to where it is today. I'm feeling very comfortable there. The negotiations with the biggest union was the key for me. And then that gave me the comfort that we're okay. It's time to go. It's okay to go.
In your time as CEO, is there anything you reflect back on you should have done?
You always think about what you could have done differently, what you could have done faster. How come some things take so long? But I'm very, very proud of the accomplishments that the organization's had in the last few years. Diversity is an issue that wasn't being addressed, and I should see it. And would I have liked to have gone a little faster? Would I have liked to have brought some of these plans in sooner? But many times you say to yourself, it's better to do it right, than have it come too fast. So I'm very happy.
You mentioned that you've been here since 2009, that one of your children was born here, they got used to be here. Are you just a Canadian now, or are you
I tell people I'm a proud American, but I'm a very honored Canadian. I love it here in Canada. I am going to go back and spend some time back there with my family, a little time on Cape Cod, maybe do a trip or two with my wife. So I'm looking forward to that.
Councilor Myers, if we could just get your thoughts on the events transpired in November. I think a lot of people will look at this today, wonder, has the board forced Mr. Leary out?
I can confirm that is not the case. Rick resigned to pursue new opportunities, and to break board confidentiality, we were all sad to see him go. There was a lot of appreciation for the work that he had done, the dedication he had served the organization, particularly through the pandemic, and really with respect to, personally speaking, the work he did at diversity. I've heard from employees throughout the ranks that Rick was the most committed CEO the TTC has ever had to really improving diversity in the ranks, and that is a proud legacy. So yes, we were all sad to see this. But we're happy for him for this trip to Cape Cod, yes. So neither I nor any board member should be commenting on any board-initiated investigations.
Even if this may have helped encourage your current CEO to start looking around for what could come next?
Again, same answer. We don't comment on any board-initiated investigations. And again, just to put the focus back, we're here to celebrate Rick. We're here to thank him for his service. 10 years is a long time, 7 years as CEO. There have been some major accomplishments under his leadership. And he's leaving on a good note. He just got a collective agreement with our largest union that saved the city from chaos. And I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief that, Rick's leadership was there helping us get that deal.
How does the job search work now?
We will be making announcements in the coming weeks, and again, but today focus is on Rick.
But I think a lot of people concerned with the TTC would like to know that your ducks are in a row and the job search is going to be happening quickly. Can you give them any sense of how that's going to work?
I can confirm that we will make an announcement in the coming weeks for the public, for those that care about the TTC, that those that rely on the TTC, such as myself. There will be no disruption to service. It will be business as usual at TTC.
Well, if we could shift back to what we were talking about this morning before this happened, what are you going to be doing to make sure that the federal government is actually looking at ponying up that money?
So as part of what we did this morning, we actually passed a campaign, a motion asking that the TTC develop a media campaign to really explain to the public the importance of getting the money for the Line 2 trains, and also to add some pressure to the federal government that this is important. It's important for the economic and social well-being of the city and of their constituents. It's important for the cities in terms of climate. It's important for the city in terms of helping us solve this gridlock problem that plagues the city. So we are confident that we will get there. We know the mayor has been negotiating hard. We know the mayor has been very successful in securing these types of deals, as has Rick Leary. So we are confident that we will get there, that a lot of good work has gone on behind the scenes to get us to that place.
Councilor, I asked Rick this question I was going to ask you too, is it frustrating to know that it's not like the federal government isn't going to pay? They're going to give you the money at some point. Is it frustrating that they don't have the same urgency that the provincial and city governments?
Yeah, it is frustrating because every quarter that we wait, I think if the cost increases by about $120 million. That money has to come from somewhere, and where that money is going to come from is ultimately from the city's taxpayers. The city has set aside money for our 1/3 share of the Line 2 trains. We have also set aside money to bring in automatic train control on Line 2. So the money, that $120 million that we're basically spending on delaying, is coming from those funds, and then we'll still have to replenish it because these trains will need to be replaced at some point.
Councillor, the motion this morning is a little vague in terms of the media campaign itself. Is there going to be money coming from the TTC budget to fund that?
So that is something, we left it intentionally vague. We really wanted to not micromanage staff. We really wanted to give them the room to come up with what they view would be an effective campaign. The TTC has had a lot of success doing this. So we really wanted to give them sort of the flexibility to come up with a campaign that we believe would be successful in helping us to secure the money needed for the Line 2 trains.
Do you hear, though, that if you leave the door open to spending taxpayer money and staff time, which is effectively taxpayer time, that you'll be criticized for, wasting money when you're frankly asking for other taxpayers' dollars?
I mean, we would much rather just get the money right now and not have to go through a campaign. So if that was a possibility, we would very much take that offer. But again, we understand that, these things take time, but we really do need to impress not just upon the politicians, but upon the public of why this money is needed for these new trains.
Does it strike you as just odd that it's going to take yet another public campaign where you have to drag the federal government kicking and screaming to pay for something?
I wouldn't say odd. The federal government has been a funding partner for many of these projects. So the Scarborough Subway, the new purchase of the streetcars, the Young Bloor capacity expansion. So we know that they will get there. These things take a bit of work. There's always negotiations happening in the background. We know the mayor is on top of this. This has been one of her top files. She's been, consistently, successful in securing money for transit. So we know those conversations are happening in the background, but it is a bit frustrating, I will say, that, we have to do this knowing that, eventually the money will have to come from somewhere, and the federal government will have to pay its 1/3 share, historically, as it has always done.
Councilor Myers, just one more question from my colleagues here. Going back to his presentation, is it getting any severance as part of it?
So Rick has worked at the TTC for 10 years, so there will be appropriate compensation, but those will be made in due time.
Will that be made public?
Yes, on the sunshine list.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.